Hi everyone, this is Arfat from Starpath Academy, and I just want to give a brief update or thoughts, I guess, on current news. And I don't usually do this, but this might have bigger implications. So I'm reading a news article here, and it's titled "A New Gold Standard. Kremlin confirms intention to back ruble with gold and commodities." On Tuesday, 26th April, in an interview with newspaper Rossiyskaya Gazeta, the secretary of the Russian Federation's Security Council, Nikolai Petrushev, said that Russian experts are working on a project to back the Russian ruble with gold and other commodities. Right. And for those who don't know, the name Nikolai Petrushev is one of Russia's most powerful security and intelligence officers and is a close ally of Putin. After serving between 1999 and 2008 as director of the Russian Federal Security Service, the successor organization of the KGB, Petrushev moved to being secretary of the Russian Security Council since 2008. In fact, Patrushev, I guess you should say, Patrushev took over as director of the SFB in 1999 from the previous incumbent Vladimir Putin. Okay, so it's getting more and more official, what it seems, and it's kind of hard to see this. In the sense, you would want gold-backed currencies, but you may not want the ruble to be gold backed, especially if you don't agree with their actions on Ukraine, because this will make the ruble much stronger and the Russian economy much stronger. And I think this is sort of it might be a trick to kind of prop up the ruble further, but it also might be something that they won't actually go through. I think there's a higher chance that they will, but it could be also just something that they want to use as a leverage against the United States and sort of challenging the United States dollar as the world reserve currency. Right. And I have been talking about this, that something like this can happen, but people who invited me on their channel didn't really think that this could happen. And they always compared, surely you cannot, and I'm not going to fire the joke again, but surely you can, you don't expect that American economy to go as the way of the Romanian economy or even the Soviet economy back in 89. And I said, well, we don't know because we don't know what might happen. And remember that the global reserve currency status of the United States dollar is sort of a consensus. It's just we agree on that. Now we agree on that because a lot of the countries are forced to agree on that. And if we take a look at what happened with Libya and Iraq when they challenged, well, they didn't even challenge it. This was even softer in the sense that they wanted to back their own currency with gold in order to prop up their own economies and maybe enrich themselves or maybe enrich their countries, depending on your views, right? So what I want to mention here that this might be a major escalation that we don't see into the future, or it's not talked about in the media that much. This will have major implications, but let's go back to the start, right? So the United States dollar and the SWIFT system has been used by many countries, but then because a lot of the countries were dependent on it, it has been also used as a weapon. Basically, it has been weaponized in order to make other countries do the bidding of the, I would say, United States, but it wasn't really our interest. It was more the global elite interest, right? So they have been using the sanctions. I mean, why can they sanction independent countries? Well, okay, let's not go into that. But maybe it's a good thing that they can. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying, why is there a possibility to do that? Because there's this consensus how we do international trade. And then you can be blacklisted, or some companies can be blacklisted, or even people, right? You can put sanctions on. So because this has been over abused in the last 10 years, a lot of countries have built up an immunity for them. Now, I would have thought that you don't want to abuse it. And then if something like really bad happens, then you can use it. And then it would be swift and actually really hard punishment on a country, right? But that has not been the case, because every little man in the government wants to abuse their power. So, well, not everyone, but the corrupt ones. And they have been trying to use this to pressure other countries, even for minuscule stuff. And now, unfortunately or fortunately, they have built up an immunity where China's like completely can be independent of it, right? And now Russia has been preparing for this most likely for at least 7 years or so. And now we are here. So since that has been over abused, countries have built up an immunity for it, right? And now the first step was to show that they actually can do this, was to demand Russian ruble for their gas. Now, technically, is it the breach of contract? Like, let's say Russia had a contract with Hungary to supply so much natural gas to them. But initially, it would be in euros, right? They would pay in euros for something else, or their Hungarian currency. Now they can say, well, no, now you have to pay in rubles. It's sort of a philosophical question, like, do they have this power? I mean, it's their gas, but do they have the contract? What's in the contract? I haven't read the contract. I don't know. But I'm saying that the shift has now happened. And even if it's just in the minds of the smaller countries on the edge of the European Union, and they are willing to pay in rubles, whether they pay lip service to the EU or not, that's a different question. Just like in the case of Hungary, they said, okay, no, we will pay in euros only. But what will actually happen is we'll send you the euros, and then the Gazprom bank will swap it into rubles and can pay themselves in rubles. And they say, hey, we paid in euros, right? And we were paying lip service to the EU. But actually what's happening is, because now the gas price is set in rubles, right? The ruble itself is tied to the gas. So it was sort of a semi backing of it already, right? And that means that now the ruble is backed by something. You need actually, it's actually good for you to have some rubles saved, just like when the petrodollar was introduced, right? With Kissinger and all of those good fellas, right? What happened was, it made sense for a lot of countries to just hold US dollars, because they could always use that for oil. That meant that, okay, well, we might as well just, in between us, we might as well just do trade in US dollars, because eventually you can buy some oil with it. I can buy some oil with it. It has some kind of backing, right? That was the original idea. And it probably worked for a long time, and still working in some places. But now Russia is sort of you could say it's being forced to do that. I think it's more of a plan. I don't think it's a good excuse for them to, well, we didn't have any choice, right? Anyway, so what has happened since then? Well, Germany, fortunately for Ukraine, one could say, I mean, if you think it's a good solution, is that they are sending more weapons to the Ukraine. I don't think that's necessarily good by itself, unless they have a lot of training or anything like that. But let's not get into politics. But what has been is, Germany has been slowly shifting into taking up more of an active role for Ukraine, right? Now, is that because Germany wants to help Ukraine? You could say that, right? But more likely, to me, it's more because of them wanting to have a card, basically leverage on negotiating for the Russian gas, because this way, like they can say, okay, well, if you continue doing this, then we're gonna pick up here, and then we're gonna make your lives harder, right? On that aspect. Okay, so we'll continue with this thought in the members video. If you're interested into some of my latest points of what currently has happened with this, then please join the membership program and follow the link below. And I will give you just a couple of more thoughts that what could be happening. That's it for this video, and thank you.